Welcome to No Bullshit with Kyle and Kelly. Oh, jazz hands forgot him. No Bullshit with Kyle and Kelly. Today we're gonna get raw and real here. There's some things that we feel like need to be discussed. You see all these recovery pictures with these bright, shiny, smiley faces, and that's terrific. And we need to give hope to those who are still sick and struggling. But at the same time, we need to acknowledge that it's not all sunshines and fucking rainbows. Just life, period. But especially, it's most difficult, I believe, for addicts. So that's going to be our topic tonight. You had a bad day. How are we going to deal with that?
I don't know.
What sort of?
I'm just gonna preface this
struggles?
by I'm having a kind of off day myself right now.
So you know what? Honestly, this is probably a really good time to do this.
Yeah, I
because
guess.
Not all of these are going to be fucking joking around. This is serious.
I actually talk about this a lot in posts and stuff, but we've never done a video about it, so it's kind of important because it is true. One of my least favorite sayings in recovery is, "If I can do it, anyone can."
Ugh,
I absolutely despise that. I mean, I understand what people mean when they say it, because a lot of times it's true in their eyes. It's like, well, I never thought I could do it, so if you feel like that. But on the flip side of that coin is where I used to be. I used to look at other people every day. I used to look at other people and I'm like, how can they get through the whole day without doing drugs? Like, I don't understand how you can possibly
What's wrong
do it.
with me?
There's got to be something wrong with me. And even now, it's still an every day I have to consciously not do drugs. Like, even though it's hard, it would be very hard for me to get drugs. Not impossible by any means.
It's gonna be a lot harder with me here.
Yeah, but I could do it if I really wanted to. I could easily do it, and then I could, as usual, what I used to do, deal with the consequences later.
Tomorrow, Kyle's problem. I've heard him say that a few times.
But it's not like I enjoy seeing people put their selfies up with their clean dates and whatnot, and it does give people hope. But there's a lot of people out there who don't comment, don't post, don't do anything, and they see that. And I think if I'm anything, I'm a realist. So you got to be realistic. Even Facebook is basically just a highlight reel of your life. If somebody else had to run your Facebook, it would be a lot more entertaining.
Pictures of myself rolling out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning with looking all.
Imagine if selfies were like
just like all day long.
When you had to take a picture and then just assume it was like you had to go get it developed instead.
Oh my god!
Imagine if it was still like that.
We have a whole album of like family fails.
You had to take a picture and then.
My favorite.
But it's like that. Like, people put on this fake sense of. I mean, even if they are genuinely happy, that's awesome. But
I think a lot of it is bullshit, though.
I know it is. I don't say it very often.
You're trying to overcompensate, perhaps, for your own unhappiness by making yourself look doubly happy to the outside world when it's covering insecurities, and that's just across the board, not even specifically with addiction.
No, but it does happen a lot, and that's most of the times when I bring this stuff up is around holidays. Because there's a lot of people who post like, oh, I'm sober for the first Christmas or sober for the first Thanksgiving.
That's good, Megan.
But then there's a lot of people who aren't, and they just look at that. Like I said, you get that feeling of, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Like, it sucks.
A real
life still sucks sometimes.
Because you do want to encourage people.
But you don't want to be overly unrealistic, because that just sets a high precedent.
What's wrong with me?
That's also one of my gripes with
Lisa, I want to specify this goes across the board with any addiction, not specifically heroin.
Just life in general too. It's not really.
And not addicts. I have those fucking days too. I'm not going to say I don't. Yeah, I want to numb everything out every now and again.
But it's
who doesn't?
When you're an addict, it sucks.
Life sucks sometimes.
You've trained your brain to want that instant gratification, and it gets lazy, and it convinces you that that's the only way you can do it. You stop producing your own dopamine. So anytime you have a bad day or a bad reaction to anything, your instant knee-jerk reaction is like, all right, this is when I used to get high. Yeah. So your brain just starts that hamster wheel. Even on days you can go like you see it happen all the time. People have years and years clean. Those are the posts. As much as those suck, those are the posts I like to see, because those are not because You know what I mean? Like
because they're real.
Yeah, it keeps people grounded, because if you see someone who has a few months, few years clean, and then they relapse, like it happens. It does. It sucks, but it happens because sometimes it can sneak up on you, and just be like, well, hey, there's always this option. It's going to take away that pain, even if it's momentary. Then it adds a whole different aspect of pain, because as soon as you do it, the guilt.
Yeah, so I think that's where the
overwhelming.
self-talk needs to come in a lot. And I mean, I'm not an addict, so I don't know if this is something that, I know it's probably harder for those addicted to do that, to train yourself to just, okay, this is not an option. What else can I do?
It is hard. It gets easier, I want to say.
I mean, God, I want to commit myself. I'm not going to say I haven't had times where the mental ward sounded like a really nice fucking vacation. Let's be real. But, you know, I had to tell myself, okay, I got kids, I got a life, this is not an option. I'm going to have to find a way to fucking deal with this. And yeah, today's going to suck and I'm going to be miserable, but hopefully tomorrow will be better. And I think that's just, you know,
see, that's easy to say, but when you're an addict, your brain, you're not in your brain, you're literally fighting your own brain. You're literally fighting your own, because your brain wants to get high as much as you don't want to do it. And I've had this happen before in relapses in my past, where I'm driving out and it's like I still got a good 20 minutes, half hour before I get it. I have all the time in the world to talk myself out of it. I could do any number of things, and I just don't, because at the time it's just you don't want to stop yourself, because once you say it out loud or tell somebody or go to a meeting or do whatever helps you normally,
if it doesn't help you on that day, it makes you feel worse.
It's hard to explain.
I think
it's really, really hard to explain.
I think a big issue in this whole thing that's not being addressed is that there are a lot of co-occurring mental illness problems that go along with addiction that are not being properly treated due to either access of care issues, no insurance, not enough insurance. You can't afford the fucking meds, cost a fortune.
Even if you can, though,
you're not being properly diagnosed. Okay, go ahead.
Even if you can, though, the thing is, heroin is so good at what it does that it doesn't matter, because all those other things will take a backseat. It doesn't matter. Like and then it's worse, because the one thing that you know for sure will take it away is also the medicine. The other one thing you're trying to get away from.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like I've said this before. It's like my mind versus my brain. My brain always wants to get high. My brain is a lazy asshole. It's just like constantly. You find this rhythm. Your brain just like constantly wants the cheapest, the quickest, laziest way out. My mind knows that this is a bad idea, so now my mind has to remind my brain that it's not.
So
we tried that route.
Talk does.
Yeah, it does. It does work, because like I said, it's exhausting. It's every day. Some days are easier than others, but every now and then, if you have one of those off days, it's an everyday thing to just be like, I can't get high today. Like every single day, I can't get high today. And you look at other people and they just go throughout their day.
They're like,
just a normal person. It's just like.
But everyone's different too. I mean, I know a lot of addicts now, or those who suffer from substance abuse disorder, and I see the people that struggle every single day not to get high, and I also see people that are able to, you know, not think about it as often. So that's where I feel like I don't know, maybe the difference is the mental health disorders. I don't know. I don't know why it's different for some people than others, but some people fight for this every fucking day, and it's hard and it's a struggle, and I don't think we should just ignore that.
Another thing I don't think a lot of people talk about enough in recovery, or even in life in general, is perception. People perceive life at any given point completely differently. Like you can see something, and like you watch a movie or something, like something that generally everybody else likes, and you just don't like. It's just something that's different about you. Food, same thing. Food is actually a better example, because food, like your taste buds have a predisposed notion of what you like. What you
like
don't
an
like.
8-year-old taste buds.
Heroin is just instantly like almost everybody is just like, wow, why doesn't everybody want to feel like this all the time? So if you throw addiction into that mix, it's just like a wrench that's just throws everything off. Like perception. That's why there's such a big debate on how to get clean. Like when there's no real one way, everybody has their own like struggles, and like for some people, just stopping is possible. For other people, you legitimately need. I hate the word crutch because crutches are meant to help people. Why would you use that as a negative connotation? But people say,
thank you. People
say like, oh, it's just a crutch.
I love that statement
people
that you made right now. Crutches are made to help people.
Yeah, why? If you see a guy walking with a broken leg and he's using crutches, you can be like, oh, well, you don't need those.
Oh, you dumbass! What the fuck do you need that for?
What the fuck are you talking
about?
Why
is
crutches
this
are
different?
a good thing, especially for mental. This is 100% what it is. It is a mental battle.
Fucking shit. Right there.
You have these people who are legitimately, if you have a broken leg, you need a crutch.
Illnesses.
These are legitimately broken people, and just getting up and pretending you're okay is one of the hardest fucking things you can possibly do. Going to work and just but in your like I've had this happen so many times where I'm still in my head. I can say all these things, go through the motions, and fake it till you make it. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Other times, once it's like an egg, and once it gets in your brain, and it has that potential to hatch, like it grows and grows and grows. And if you don't just stomp it out,
I agree.
So it's not something I recommend. The only thing that I give addiction credit for is it is infinitely humbling, and it gives you a perspective on life that I would never have had otherwise.
But I want to kind of, I know this is addiction based, but mental health falls under this category as well. I feel. In a lot of ways, there are very similar stigmas. Again, it's an invisible illness.
See, that's what I was saying earlier. That's why heroin, it's one of those, it'll mask everything. Like it's one of those things. It's a cure all. I'm not going to say it actually cures anything because in fact it makes things worse. All it does, it's a second. But it's just a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Like it.
Yeah.
But it's the greatest Band-Aid you'll ever feel in your life. That's the problem. And then eventually it's not even about feeling good, it's about just not feeling like shit. And it's tough.
Yeah, it's a temporary.
It's tough because if you still have the money and the means and you aren't ready to get clean, you can justify it all day. Or you can be like, well, this is just my life now. Like I'm just gonna be an addict, this is my miserable existence. I'm alive, like I'm getting through it.
That breaks my heart when I see people
because a lot of
you're
saying a lot of addicts have undiagnosed mental illnesses.
Yeah.
And
so they have the double whammy of not just only having those mental health problems, which I've seen very close family members that I've lived with for a long time struggle with, but to add that to the mix is just really challenging.
Real quick, what Amber's saying, fake it till you make it. I've read studies where it actually supposedly works.
I have as well.
But I think it's only for a certain extent and a certain amount of things. Like, because there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do because I can. There's certain times where I definitely couldn't fake it. Like I just couldn't do it. Like
when I was going through the worst of Ava's addiction and really having emotional problems, there were days that I could get through that way, and there were days that I was going in the break room and having a freaking breakdown. I mean, it doesn't always work, but you know what? Try again tomorrow. I mean, that's my best advice.
For what you're saying though, Amber, like if you're 6.5 years clean and you're still trying to like tell yourself you're still trying to fake it, I think it's more important. This is what I actually had a post pop up on my memories on Facebook the other day where I was talking about just how I was having a shitty time and how I feel like it's important to acknowledge it, because if I don't acknowledge it and I don't say something out loud, then it's just gonna stay in my head, and I can't convince myself anything. I can lie and say things over and over again.
He's smart for his own good.
I cannot.
A lot of people in addiction that I know are very highly intelligent people, and that is part of the problem. In a way, is that your brain and your mind are.
I can't fool myself because I know exactly. I know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to convince
myself. He's already
myself.
2 steps ahead of himself.
It's like I was saying to my therapist the other day. It's like I'm playing chess against myself, and I'm always losing or winning. I don't know what side I'm on because it's always like I can't. It's like trying to fall asleep. This is another good analogy, or in my opinion, it's like when you try to fall asleep and you have that feeling like, oh shit, I'm about to fall asleep, and it just wakes you right back up. That's like my brain 95% of the time. Like I can't do it.
Or perhaps like your brain is still thinking about 100 million things and you're like, I just want, okay, we're going to sleep now. And it's just not happening.
Or if I do notice myself like having a moment where I'm not thinking about like something that's bothering me, it's only a fleeting second, and then I'm right back to like, oh yeah, like life, like oh fuck,
I'm supposed to be worried.
oh yeah, like
Hold on,
I'm not
back
worrying.
to that.
I'm not worrying right now. Something must be wrong. Like,
And then it perpetuates the cycle.
so it's I'm not a mental health expert whatsoever, so I can only really give you my own perspective on what I've done and what hasn't. I can tell you what doesn't work, and what doesn't work is burying it. Like, it sucks, like, because it's life sucks sometimes, and if you don't acknowledge it, then you're just lying to everybody around you.
I love that about you, because I know Kyle well enough where he can make a little like sighing sound, and I know that he's having one of those days where he's really stuck in his head, and he's not afraid to talk about it. I mean, I really admire that about you. You'll say, yeah, you know what, this is what's going on with me right now, and I'm not in a good place, and I mean, it should be talked about.
Because like I know myself.
At least you're not alone, you know. I mean,
and I always have been before. Like, that's the thing. Like, not necessarily alone, because I had my family around, but I knew if I told them, then they would either worry or that option of getting high was just completely off the table at that point. At least, like, in an addict's mind, even if you don't get high, it's always an option.
Well, you know what? No, you know what? That is very similar with anxiety, though. Anxiety, when you have severe anxiety, you need to have an escape route at all times, whether you're an addict or not. I've gone through this with other people, and if they didn't know they had a very clear escape route, they were a hot fucking mess. So I can only imagine, knowing that your escape route isn't an option, because for this particular person, addiction was not a problem. So their escape routes were as simple as get yourself out of that situation. It's not that way for someone who's addicted. It's totally different. So it just magnifies the problem.
And all it really does is it snowballs, because.
Yeah, Amber, that's a really good point too. You worry about disappointing other people.
See, that's the you can't do that anymore. Like, you can't do that. Other people might be disappointed, but you would rather have them upset at you than planning your goddamn funeral. Like, there's really.
But that's easier said than done.
I know it's easier said. All of this is easier said than done.
You're right. I know.
All of
I'm
this
not trying to minimize.
It's easier said than done.
I'm not.
Like, it's like I've said this about addiction before to people who've never been addicts. It's like trying to explain color to a blind person. Like, you just can't understand. You can learn about it all. You can learn about it all you want, but it's unfathomably, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's fucking, it's your own worst enemy, because it's something, like I said, that will take away whatever's going on at any given point. And then the anxiety you feel about getting high, that'll take it away. But then as soon as you get high, all those thoughts, it kind of seems opposite, because you would think if you're not high and you're feeling like shit, you would be like, oh man, why do I do this to myself? But that actually fuels you to get high. And then once you get high, you don't feel like shit anymore. So the only thing you have to think about
at that moment.
Yeah, you don't feel physically like shit. You don't feel physically like shit. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't feel physically like shit anymore. So all of those worries that you were feeling throughout the entire day are gone. So the only thing you have to think about is, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Like, I could have made it through the day. I could have been fine. I could have done this. But
then you turn around and you're living on your fucking street corner in a box. So
that's the thing. Like, you can't. Disappointment.
Let's be real. No bullshit.
I don't know. Disappointment. Other people. That's another thing. People have a real hard time about opinions of other people, even though we're our own worst critics. Like, it's. I don't know, man.
Well, there's some real asshole trolls online that are probably worse critics.
Fuck them. You got. I don't even.
I can find a few. I'm not gonna say where, because I don't want to offend anybody. But
it's gotten to the point where I'll say the same couple things, and if I hear the same 3 phrases back at me, I don't even bother, because all you can. It's either you can either have an educational debate and try to tell these people, explain to these people, or they just don't want to listen. So it's really it's
like little children.
Don't waste your time. That's all I can say. Is just don't waste your time with those people. They're everywhere. You can find people who are against like anything, but for some reason everybody wants to blame the victim. So.
All right, I'm going to read Amber's comment here. My family thinks sobriety means I'm cured. Like everything is unicorns and fucking glitter. I roll. Love that. If I'm angry, I'm using. If I'm happy, I'm using. If I'm quiet, I'm using. And you know what? I have to admit, I'm a little guilty of this myself. If Kyle's a little quiet that day, I'm like, what's wrong? And then he's like, oh my God, something's wrong with me.
Yeah, like nothing's wrong. What am I doing?
I'm trying to, be supportive and be a good friend to him and give him an ear. So there's such a fine line.
Because it's something that it's something unfortunately that we did to ourselves, and we have to live with the consequences.
Yeah, but I mean, there are people that want to be a support system. And Amber, your mother, or your family, whoever is saying this to you, I mean, they are concerned. They probably mean well, but they aren't able to get in your head and they aren't able to articulate it right. I mean, like I said, I'm around addicts all the time and I don't say the right thing. I don't, I mean, we just do our best. I don't know. I love you. I try to be supportive.
Yeah, but there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do.
I know. That's part of, and that's a me issue. That's a me issue. There's only so much I can do.
The thing is, Amber, you're open about it, and you've made a lot of friends online and stuff that you can be open
Amber,
to.
I love that you're being so open with this. I really do.
So
thank you.
Short of what you've already done that works, like when you're feeling like this, I just feel like it's important to acknowledge it and get it out there and talk about it as much as you can. Because for me personally, when I don't talk about it is when things get much, much worse.
Yeah, when you were isolating in Massachusetts, I do think it was different.
And I was going through some personal shit that I didn't talk about much, especially online. There's a lot of people who are never gonna find out about it.
Nope.
But it was some serious shit that I was going through, and I didn't handle it very well at all. But I mean.
You know what?
Fuck
that. Not everyone handles shit well. I mean, you get these scenarios thrown at you that there is no.
Yeah, but hindsight's 20/20.
Well, fuck that. I mean, when you're in the moment, you don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, you don't always make the right decision.
I know. That's one of my biggest problems too. Is I can give people advice all day, every day.
Oh, it's so much easier to give it.
Well, when it comes to that's one thing I tell people a lot is when they ask me advice, I tell them like, well, what would you tell somebody if they were asking you this exact question? Like, what would you say to somebody else who's in your position?
Say that.
Because then it kind of turns it around. It's like, oh shit, all right, well, it kind of pulls you out of it for a second.
Amber, I love you.
It kind of pulls you out of it for a second because most of the time, what you need to do is not what you want to do. Like what you need to do and what you want to do are two completely different things. And sometimes there's no right answer just to a lot of shitty situations.
That's what really makes it tough is that nothing is black and white.
A lot of people ask for advice.
A
lot of people ask for advice and you'll get yes or no answers or like different experiences when sometimes you just got to make a decision and stick with it. Like when people like the tough love kind of thing is a good example because a lot of people, some people have success stories about kicking their child out. Some people have success stories about keeping them in a close encounter or like shutting
and
it
I
down.
have to say, as a parent who advises on that a lot, it really is situation by situation.
Yeah, you have to.
It really is.
You have to make a decision and stick with it, and then like life happens and it sucks, and sometimes shit does not work out, and it's unfortunate. But other times it does. Like it's one of those things.
I think that, but you know what? Hey, say that again. Other times it does.
It does. It 100% does.
So I mean. Maybe try focusing on some of those times that it did work out well for you. I don't know.
Because you've gotten through 100. Like this is a classic saying.
Give yourself a little pat on the back. I mean, you've gone through a lot and you made it through. I mean.
Yeah, you've gotten
give
through.
Yourself some credit.
Gone through 100% of your worst days already.
Absolutely, Megan. It is. And she's talking about the co-occurring disorders and how much more difficult that makes it. Fuck yeah, it does.
Because like I said, all the medicines that you were taking, you can take that they prescribe you, they don't hold a fucking candle to what heroin can do just temporarily.
Are bullshit anyway.
Yeah, a lot of like there's a lot to be said about the placebo effect too, because sometimes you can take something that really literally does nothing to you, but your brain is a very powerful organ that convinces you that something's happening. One time I accidentally took 4 I thought I was taking 4 ibuprofens, but I accidentally took 4 multivitamins and I had never felt better at work. I was like, oh man, my back feels good.
Maybe
like,
you
blah,
were
blah.
vitamin deficient. Maybe that's
No, I was taking them every day. Like it was 100% psychological and then I got home and I was looking at the bottle because they're the same color. They're like red ibuprofen. And I was looking, and I was like, oh, I don't even have any ibuprofen. What the fuck is wrong with me? But then there goes that. I can't convince myself the next time, like I can't take more of them and like,
He's so sweet.
forget.
He makes me take my vitamins.
They're my
Aw.
vitamins. I give you
You
my
get-
vitamins. We share.
Oh my God, that I was trying to be nice. That got really aggressive. You're a little aggressive today. Turn it down a notch.
What's different? I'm aggressive. every
It's
day.
a little.
I can't help it.
No. I don't know. What I can say from the perspective of somebody who loves a lot of people that struggle with either mental health or addiction problems or both, just try to be there for them the best you can. I mean, if they want to talk, let them talk. If they don't want to talk, leave them be. Keep a careful watch if you're worrying about relapse. Try to keep the dialogue open in a non-judgmental way. That's my best advice. I mean, if Kyle came to me and told me, you know what, I really want to use right now, I'm not going to judge him. We're going to sit and we're going to talk about it. I don't know. I feel like those are the best tools. Just like you said, talking about it.
See, that's true, Amber. But at the same time, like.
Amber, I agree.
Especially these
that's
days.
really a problem with any mental illness I have found in my very vast experience in that area is that finding the proper diagnosis and medications can be literally impossible for some people.
And a lot of times it takes a lot of tweaking before you get it right, but you can.
If you do,
you do, yeah, but yeah, if it
some
doesn't
people don't.
a lot, but that's another thing about addiction is you want that instant gratification. And if this pill is
Yeah,
not
that
making you
makes
feel
it,
good
yeah.
immediately, and if it's not
That
fixing the
makes it a lot
problem, then you
harder.
think like, all right, well, this doesn't work, so I'm doomed, like, or give me the next drug, or like that, or some have negative side effects.
Yeah, so you got to take this.
Antidepressants cause
and
depressive thoughts. What? Like, of
They
course
make you
do.
gain 1 million fucking pounds. You already feel like shit about yourself. And
Oh,
then
mine-
you take
mine
that
made
and
me-
you gain them 100 pounds. And
mine
you're
made
like
me lose a
feeling
bunch of
like
weight.
Twice as much shit. Well, I don't know. It's just some of them.
But then when you do get depressed on antidepressants, it makes it 1,000 times worse. Like it's a dark period, and it's so weird to, especially bipolar. I don't think I'm bipolar, but when I do go into my depressive episodes, I know what I should do. I know what's happening, but at the time it doesn't matter. Like I just want to wallow in my own self-pity, and it doesn't matter to me. I can brush everything off. I can just be this negative person because it's just what I've done my whole life, or at least the last like 10, 11, 12 years.
Miguel, we think whatever will help somebody stay clean. We're all for MAT.
It's up to a person to be able to responsibly use either Suboxone or methadone
You
or whatever.
determine what's going to be your best. You need to empower yourself. Whatever is going to be your best mode of getting to where you want to be.
It's harm reduction, and how could you
Exactly.
possibly be against harm reduction? Anybody who
And I consider that somebody being clean if they're taking it as prescribed. It's a medication for an illness, in my opinion.
I don't even think I hate that debate. I don't like semantics. If you're clean, you're not clean. Like nobody else can dictate your
If
recovery.
you're not putting a fucking needle in your arm or putting
You're
something
clean from
up your
heroin,
nose,
right?
then you're I don't know.
You're clean from fucking heroin.
That's my opinion. But everyone has their own opinion about that subject.
Yeah, but they're not you, and you need to do what you know you need to do.
Exactly.
If you know that you can't get through the day without doing heroin and Suboxone is helping you, then fucking what is the debate?
Do it. Yeah,
Sure, there's people out there who abuse it. Sure, there's people out there who sell it.
Exactly, Stephanie. Quality of life. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a difference between addicted and dependent too. Like people don't seem to understand.
Actually, we did a video. Ava and I did a video about that a long time ago. Describing.
You're not stealing, robbing, and all this other shit.
It's in my albums if you want to look at it. But we really went into the semantics of the difference between being physically dependent on a medication and being addicted to one. So if you want to look up that video, it's in my album somewhere. It's Ava and I, one of the only ones we did together. But that went into extensive detail about the two. I don't know. Does anyone else have anything they want to contribute to this? I mean, we're just going to acknowledge that sometimes everyone has a fucking bad day, and it's especially difficult for people that know.
Yeah, go listen to REM.
That's going to make me want to shoot myself.
Yeah.
No, don't listen.
You can make it do that. Yeah,
Please don't do
Don't go
We
on
don't want
an
that on
argument.
our hands. I'm sorry if there's any fans out there.
But it's true. Everybody.
I'm sorry.
Michael Stipe had it
I'm sorry
right.
to the two of you.
Tom, we got 7 people watching right now.
Wow, we're doing amazing. But seriously, I mean, this is something that I feel is important for people.
Was that right? Was that Michael Stipe? Stipe?
I don't
Yes.
fucking know the bald guy, whatever.
Yes, I am right. I don't know how to say his last name though. I'm sorry, that was gonna bother me if I got that wrong.
Yeah, because that's the most
I
important
have an
part of
obsessive
this right
pop
here.
culture
We
disorder.
really need, he really
That's
does.
how my brain works.
I will never play trivia with this man ever. He will kick my ass.
You gotta be on my team, bro.
And yeah, I gotta be on your team. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to really say about this. I just feel like it's important that we're being open and having discussions like this and saying that.
You're welcome, Miguel. I can tell you.
I mean, we don't want to discourage people from fucking getting clean by any means, but you can't expect that, you know, everything's gonna go perfect and smooth. That's just not life. Trust me. I'm not an addict, and my life has gone to shit. I can tell you that. Like, it's not easy, no matter. You can't have these unrealistic expectations.
What you have to do is rewire your brain and have like the little thing. You gotta start small.
Time helps a lot.
Well, you gotta start small by building a routine in your life and then having the little things.
Well, these things have worked for you. Let's word it that way.
Yeah. This is true just in brain chemistry in general. Like you, the short small rewards. The short small rewards will start to rewire your brain to start making its own dopamine. And then I gotta tell you, like, you don't get the instant gratification from not getting high, but the satisfaction that you feel from getting through an entire day and then just being like, all right, cool, I did it again. Like that, those little things, it builds up, and you can. It's not gonna be every day. It's not gonna be easy by any means. It never is. But
I know the days that you've gotten something done are the days you tend to, at the end of the day, feel the best about yourself. And I see you with the more genuine smiles and happier than, you know.
I can not even know.
That's true.
I only have 2 Superman shirts. This is ironic because I almost always wear them, or one's a sweatshirt. So
this one,
that doesn't matter.
no, I won't get into the creepy story about that one, but
anyway,
this is important. So I don't know. If you feel like this would help somebody else, please feel free to share this. I do feel like it's important to see the other side of recovery, other than all of the, you know, cute smiling selfies. I mean, those are really good, and that's great to inspire some people. But for some, it does the opposite.
Yeah, that's the way
it does.
I didn't know.
It makes you feel like, why the fuck am I not that happy?
I wasn't in a support group during my active addiction. I didn't know these things existed, or nobody was really this open about it even a few years ago. So
no, lots changed even just.
I don't know what I would have done or how things would have gone differently, but I can say that even now, from the 2 minutes before we started this video to the way I feel now is exponentially better. Like it's weird. Because I was not in a good mood.
I'm still really super excited to do this video to tell you that it's not easy to bury yourself like this and lay yourself on the line.
No, that's not the problem. I don't have a problem doing that because I've been very open about my recovery and the struggles.
No, I know you have, but it's different when you're feeling shitty and you're
it's just I didn't want to
as opposed to
like back to what I was saying a couple minutes ago. I didn't want to do this that much, but now that I did it, I feel much better. And now I can that's good. Like,
I'm proud of you.
I can have that small victory. You got to baby steps. Baby steps are very important. Go watch What About Bob?
What about
Baby steps?
I'm
just gonna make a bunch of references that most people are too young to understand.
Or too old, because I don't know what the hell you're
talking about. What about Bob?
I don't know. I don't fucking watch TV. I work
like
to take care of my damn
1991.
kids. I was fucking. What was I doing in '91? I don't even know.
You were in like high school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anywho,
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, at least it gives you strength. Like knowing you're not alone. Just. But for a lot of people, they don't have that option. Like I said, I didn't know about groups like the heroin support or anything like that.
And even me, just being the loved one of an addict, I stumbled upon support groups a lot later on than I wish I had. If I knew these things were out there, it would have made life a lot better.
Yeah, like Miguel was saying too. Like it's something that you don't like.
Yeah.
Especially like I mean, it's getting a little different now. It's a lot. Well, unfortunately,
Amber,
because
I'm sorry.
of deaths.
Amber, it's not about
It's not about feeling weak.
Weakness.
No.
I mean, maybe you feel that way, but you're a fucking badass. I know you. You're a fucking badass. And everybody feels that way sometimes, but if you can't keep telling yourself you're a badass, I'm gonna. So you message me when you're feeling like that, and I'm remind you all day long you're a fucking badass.
It's not weak. It's 100% normal. Like you have to acknowledge that. Like even people, this. This is why I like fucking with strangers on the street sometimes, like out in public.
Yeah.
Because people just put on this facade and they're like, oh, they talk about the weather, or they talk about sports. If you just say something out of the blue that they're not expecting,
which he's the king of, by the way,
it's awesome because it just throws them off completely. Especially talking about addiction, you'd be like. Someone will be just be saying something random like, "Well, I can't do that. I'm a heroin addict," and then they're like, what? How? Like, oh, watching the clock turn in their head, like, yeah, this is the real world, motherfucker. Welcome.
And we're like, we're at Taco Bell. We don't need to be talking about this.
I did that when I bought you cigarettes like a half an hour ago. This girl I was like, oh, I quit smoking cigarettes. She's like, oh, good, don't start again. I was like, yeah, I only started because I couldn't do heroin.
He likes his shock factor too, Mr. Attention Whore.
Well, it's not even that. It's you got to be open about it. Well, you don't got to. For me personally, being open about it helps so much. And because I went through that shame, I went through the years of losing friends and people knowing about it and having this like, oh, what do they think about me? I got lucky because what happened to me in order to get clean was extremely public. It was on the news. Like I got arrested and it was on the news and shit. And it gave me, I had no choice. Like I either was gonna keep doing what I was doing and eventually die, or I could use it as motivation and laugh about it because it was pretty fucking funny. Like it was the dumbest fucking thing ever. But it's like,
we're trying to get the film so we can put it on America's Dumbest Criminals.
If I can laugh.
Do they pay you for that?
Probably not. I mean, half that shit's on YouTube. But I gotta you know what? It's been a long time. I hope my lawyer still has it.
It's just not worth it.
But no, it's
show me the money.
It's
shit. We need money.
It's just
All right.
Shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. I think that's a great way to wrap this up. Shit happens.
It's how you deal with it that builds character.
Exactly.
Like nobody's responsible for 100% of the things that happen in their life, but you're 100% responsible for how you respond to them.
Absolutely.
Which I can say until I'm blue in the face, and I can't
say that
do it.
too. I
do
played
it.
the blame game for a lot of years before I finally
It's
said,
easier.
you know what? I'm an adult. I need to deal with this shit now. It's now my problem and my responsibility. It's no longer, I can't place blame on so-and-so for traumatizing me. You know, I need to accept how I'm going to deal with that.
See, Amber, you don't have to do that. That's something that you've convinced yourself of.
No.
You don't have to do that at all. That's why.
That is society.
Yeah, that's why people
that is a societal fucking problem that women are supposed to be able to, you know, work full time, take care of our goddamn kids, have our houses fucking spotless all the time, go bake a fucking cake. It's not realistic.
It's just
and look gorgeous while you're doing it with your little fucking skirts and shit. Like, come on.
I mean, even therapists go to therapy. It's like,
yeah, they do.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, people don't want to acknowledge these things that everybody deals with on a daily basis. So talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it and make it the norm.
And if you don't want to talk publicly, you can private message either one of us. We're happy to talk to you anytime. For the most part. Maybe not like 3:30, but you know, if you're really desperate, it's 3:30. What the fuck? PM us. One of us will be up. All right. Love you guys. Keeping it real. No bullshit. Have a lovely evening or don't. But either way, you made it. You fucking made it. So good for you. Have a good night.